thing. Another thing is he makes it really clear that the strength of this argument is that this name Alma is a name that is not given to men. He mentioned that. I was writing down notes of his quotes. And he also said about Joseph Smith, if he ever heard the name Alma before, he would have heard it as a woman's name. Okay. That's the power of the argument. That's really the strength of the argument, that he would have no idea that Alma would ever be a man's name. Nobody he knew would be named Alma. If he knew anybody named Alma, it would be a woman. And here it shows up in the Book of Mormon as a man's name. What is he thinking?
Yeah. My concern would be, as you're pointing out, which is that Dan Peterson and lots of other apologists, and we'll show a few more clips here in just a moment, lots of other apologists would also trump this argument out. And I've heard this evidence, which really is kind of turned around, and we'll talk about this later, but it really is kind of turned in a way that really isn't appropriate to, it is not appropriate to use it as. And they tout it out there as evidence of the church being true. And it's not just something that was done back in this 1995 clip that we just watched. It's much more modern use of this argument and current materials on apologetic sites. And once we show through, as you talk about and as I talk about throughout this episode, as we show that this really isn't an appropriate way to form this argument, there are lots of fallacies being used. My hope is going forward that within apologetics, that apologists will start to be more honest, especially as folks like you and me hold them accountable. And so I just want to say, this is such a small issue, but it's representative of 100 other issues. And when you see the games that are being played here, you can start to apply that kind of understanding to other things going on in apologetics within Mormonism and religion at large, by the way.